Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Straight Talk Vermont show. I'm Bruce Wilson, Executive Director, and as well as Service Rendered, Arts Are Wonderful. Go to our website, you'll see everything we do. Before I talk to our incredible guests, I want to talk about a little about Arts So Wonderful. Arts, A-R-T-S, SOWonderful.com. Look us up. We're going to have our fundraising coming up real soon. But I want to talk about all those incredible murals you see everywhere. These new murals you see on like an Asiana house in Burlington, and you see them, the new graffiti one on Pearl Street Beverage on Union Street side. You see tons of new murals. And Thorson Way is right off between Red Square and Aches Place. Go down that alley. It used to be crappy. Now look at it now. So many murals. We got like, 15 murals down there. We got a few more to go. And a display that we're going to put up there too, outside, inside. Well, it's kind of outside, inside display that you can really. My art director, Alondra De Cuesta, is going to be asking for individuals to submit suggestions or ideas around this display. We're going to send you the pictures on the next show with your ideas, and if we pick yours, we're going to have you on our cable shows as well as I think Alondra said she's going to provide some type of gift to you, and I'm happy to see what it might be. And so right now I would like to introduce you to John Sayles from Vermont Foodbank, CEO, a friend of mine for a long time. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming on our show.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, you're going to talk to update us about what Vermont Foodbank have to offer, and what people maybe can understand what's going on new and how they get involved and services that you provide.
Sure.
So before we go there, John, you're not new. This is your second time being on the show. So let's just go over your bio a little bit.
Sure.
You go ahead.
I moved to Vermont in 1999 from Maryland and started working at the Public Service Department. So I was a utility regulator. Mm-hmm. I ended up working for the state for about 9 years. Worked at the Public Service Department for 6, and then at Agency of Natural Resources, where my last job there was Deputy Secretary at the agency. Nice. And then I got this amazing opportunity in 2009 to come to the Vermont Foodbank. Nice. And this is my 17th year. Wow, so it must have been a good fit, wow. Or it certainly feels like it.
Definitely.
It always felt to me like it was still public service, right? I always felt like working for the state was helping people every day, and I get to continue to do that now at the food bank. A lot has changed in 17 years.
Wow, you know it. I know. Yeah. You're right about that, John. A lot has changed, and so wow, you guys can provide incredible services. First of all, how many locations do you serve?
So the food bank serves the entire state of Vermont. Mm-hmm. We're statewide. We're the only food bank in Vermont, and the local, like Feeding Champlain Valley and South Burlington Food Shelf and Colchester Food Shelf, Winooski, they're all partners with the food bank. So we all work together. The food bank is kind of like the wholesaler. So last year we distributed 14 million pounds of food. Wow. And that's out of 3 distribution centers, one in Barre, one in Rutland, and one in Brattleboro. We have about 75 employees statewide. We've got a fleet of trucks, and we're out delivering food to, the food shelves. There's about 225 food shelf partners around the state in every community. And then we partner with schools and hospitals and do our direct distribution program called Veggie Van Go, which people may have been to. And total partners is around 300. So we're kind of a hub. We do direct distribution. We support our partners. We've got some programs and really just try and lift up communities. A lot like the work you do.
Yeah. Well, John, can you explain to everybody about what is a partner? What
Sure.
Partner entails?
Sure. Like I mentioned Feeding Champlain Valley, which is actually our largest. We call them network partners, and those are our 501c3 or faith-based organizations that have an agreement with the food bank and get food from us. Now, some of that food is food that's donated. We get food from the grocery stores around. We get food from manufacturers and distributors. We get food from national national donors through our national organization, Feeding America. So, stuff might be coming from Cabot, or might be coming from Hannaford or Shaw's, or it might be coming from Cargill or Tyson, some chicken, or Smithfield. You never know, all kinds of stuff.
Names, man. That we, we so love, and we shop for,
Exactly.
And this is the best.
So when you go to your local food shelf, then you'll see some of the same things that you see in the grocery store. We also run 2 federal food programs. One is called TFAP. Of course, it's acronyms, right? It's a federal government.
Always acronyms.
The Emergency Food Assistance Program, TFAP. That is mostly grocery stuff, so canned food, pasta, rice, just staples, and also some fresh food. So we get apples and oranges, and we get frozen meat, all this from the federal government, and it gets distributed through a few of our food shelf partners. There's requirements, of course, if you're distributing federal food.
Sure.
They always add rules, the feds.
Dot that I and cross the T.
That's right.
Vice
That's
versa.
right. So those foods go to food shelf partners, and then there's another program called Commodity Supplemental Food Program, CSFP, and that's a box of basically staples. Again, canned fruit, canned vegetables, some protein, pasta, milk, cereal.
Value foods.
It goes to people over 60
Nice.
who are income eligible.
Nice.
And we do those direct distribution. So our volunteers in our distribution centers build those boxes. It's actually a box, weighs about 40 pounds worth of food, and then they get distributed all over the state. And then we purchase a lot of food too, because we can't get enough food donated,
Right.
and we want to fill in all the gaps of the food that we don't have, and make sure that our partners, our food shelf partners around the state, can access all the food they need. So the food that we purchase, then our partners can purchase through us. So we buy by the truckload, and then they can buy by the case through us, and we'll deliver that in our regular deliveries. So it's kind of a mix of different kinds of food. The donated food and the government food is all no charge. And then the food we purchase, our partners can purchase that through us. And the last thing I'll say is about half of the food, actually more than that, maybe 65% of the food we distribute is fresh food. So that's fresh produce. We get 3 truckloads of fresh produce every Monday morning, and then meat and dairy and other stuff, both donated and purchased.
Nice. Wow. And so also too, a lot of those locations in the stores that they might even donate food to, like City Market or people, they have these donation baskets there for people like me. We can buy some. So I'm drop this can of soup or rice in this bin.
Yep.
So it's a lot of locations that do that too, the feeding tendon. Right?
It is, and those happen all over the state. And usually what will happen is the local partner, so whoever is, if it's Manchester or if it's Bennington or if it's Brattleboro or Burlington, the local partner will go and pick that up at the grocery store. Because you got to think about the food bank from the business sense. It doesn't make sense for us to be driving and picking up those donations, sorting them, and then redistributing them, because that costs money, right? We have to roll trucks, we have to have stuff moving around in our distribution centers, and so the local folks just go and pick that up directly and distribute it out of their food shelves.
Okay, that's good to know. And so, you only have 75 employees, man. They some great people. Thank you for Vermont Foodbank employees. I'm telling you, man, I could have swore you had, not swore, but I could figured you had more than 100 employees for all the locations that you serve across, all the counties that you serve across the state, the whole state.
Yeah. Well, most of the, we call it the charitable food system, is powered by Vermonters, by volunteers. Most of our partners, not Feeding Champlain Valley or the other community action agencies, but a lot of our partners are completely volunteer driven. And we operate pretty lean because we rely on donations and volunteers. And it's not just, I said we purchase a lot of food, so it's not just food donations, but financial donations are really important.
No doubt about it. Definitely.
I mean, you know that. You run a couple of nonprofits.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And plus, and on your website, people can look at your website.
Yep.
What's your website again?
Our website is vtfoodbank.org.
Yeah, and then you see donation buttons.
Yes, donation buttons, and you can learn how to volunteer, and also what we say is advocate, because it's important that our policymakers, both at the state level, our state reps and senators, and at the federal level, that they know that people care about hunger as an issue.
No doubt.
Nobody's going to be successful if they're thinking about where their next meal is coming from.
Man, and plus now too, like this morning as I was walking, I live downtown Burlington, so I walked here, and I'm like, my neighbor, like, I was telling, she stopped me, she said, "Where you going?" I said, "Well, got to do a show," She said, and she said, "Could you bring me some food back?" So I stopped at the food shelf, and brought a bag of food for her when we go back, and I'm gonna give it to her. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to do that for her, because she's older than me when she can't get around, and I'm glad for her to ask me that question, to kind of put it all together, locations, where CCTV and Vermont, Burlington Food Shelf. So now I see Burlington Food Shelf. It's a lot going on with Burlington Food Shelf with CVOEO.
Yeah.
And you guys are big. That probably one of your bigger deals, than a lot of these. I guess CVOEOs
Well, they have CVOEO is our biggest single partner. They run not just the food shelf down on North Winooski, but also in St. Albans. It's Chittenden County, Franklin County, and Addison County.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
Franklin Family Foods up in St. Albans is a huge partner. And Rob Meehan and the whole team, Paul Dragon at CVOEO.
This wow, this is like United Way. They do a lot of things in collaborate with Franklin County and others. Yeah, I used to be a board of director for CVOEO. They used to send me a packet, like it used to be 16 organizations underneath CVOEO, and they send me a packet to read, like a board director. And good Lord, man, what a reading!
It's a lot.
It's a lot to read, It's a lot. But they do a lot. I think it's like 12 now. About 12, they do 12.
That's we were talking a little bit earlier. The food bank, we have our piece that we do, and we try and do it really well. And we also try and make sure that that we're not doing the pieces that others are doing, right? Because we don't want to duplicate efforts.
No doubt about it.
So a partner like CVOEO, they do housing, they do crisis response, they do substance use disorder treatment. And we want to be there to help take the burden off on the food piece to the extent we can.
You do.
And to do that, statewide, we don't want to do housing.
Right.
We don't want to do the things that others are doing well. We want to do what we do well,
sure. And support each other
and help fill that need as best we can.
And you do. And so I know Vermont Foodbank have a education programs, like learn about hunger, or they can go on your website and learn about hunger, find out resources about like where the food shelves are.
We have we just actually have a new platform there, and if you go to our website vtfoodbank.org and you click on Find a Food Shelf, you can just type in your town or a zip code, and it will give you a list of all of our food shelf partners. And some of them now are able to create their own websites, so you can learn more detail about when they're open, how you can get help in that community. It really is a network of people across the state. And then, we also connect with like the healthcare organizations in different places. So some of the Burlington Health Center, their corollaries around the state, some of them have food shelves. And food is health. And health is food. If we're not eating right, we're not healthy, and we can't get healthy, get over diseases. I just had coffee with a friend of mine this morning who's just been diagnosed as pre-diabetic. And so I think a lot about people who have special dietary needs, can't eat gluten, you're diabetic, high blood pressure, all those things
They
are
all fall together too. Once you have one thing, like if you're diabetic, normally you have high blood pressure and all, everything. It all falls together. You know, for some reason.
And getting the right food is so important.
It is. Nutritional values mean a lot.
And it's tough,
exercise,
right? It's tough with the food shelf network, is that we don't have the resources for every one of our partners to have all the things. So we work together, and if you can't find what you need at one, then talk to the folks there, and they can connect you with the resources that can help you get what you need.
Yeah.
I'd also, at some point, like to talk about 3 Squares Vermont.
Okay, we can talk about it too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it right now. 3 Squares Vermont. Let's go ahead.
So people who are older might remember them called food stamps, and sometimes they still are. And nationally, it's called the SNAP program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. In Vermont, it's called 3 Squares Vermont, and it is, there have been some cuts in the bill that the reconciliation, one big beautiful bill that passed. But it is still, even with that, the most efficient and effective anti-hunger program we have in this country. And people can actually, if they go to our website, we can have some, give them some assistance in finding out if you're eligible for SNAP or for 3 Squares Vermont, and if you are, signing up and getting through the application process. Because that gives you an EBT card that you can take to any grocery store that accepts benefits, which is almost all of them, and shop for the foods that you want and need, and do that on your schedule.
Right. Wow. So you guys, so did you say that you help them actually fill it out too?
Yeah.
You do the service?
With people that will help you fill out the application. I mean, you said your neighbor who's got mobility issues can't get out of the house, so our folks will get on the phone with her, or maybe even go to her home and sit down at her kitchen table and help fill out the application.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. And so they, so that's SNAP, right? You said SNAP, 3 Squares.
3 Squares.
Yes, 3 Squares been around.
It's been around for a long time.
You say that name is that national name or just Vermont?
No, well, each state, the national name is SNAP. Each state gets to call it its own name. So like in California, it's Calfresh. I don't know what Massachusetts is, but here it's 3 Squares Vermont.
Nice.
And it really gives people the chance to meet their family's food needs with dignity.
No doubt about it.
Right, and that is so important. I want everyone to have the dignity, not only of having the food that they want and need in their homes, but dignity in how they access that food.
No doubt about it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, so you have a community grant program. How that work?
We do. We make grants. Actually, during COVID, we were making grants to many more organizations because we were able to access some of the federal funds that were flowing into Vermont through the legislature.
Sure.
And really, folks who even had some not direct but indirect impact on food security, we were making grants. Since that money is no longer available, we still make grants, but those grants go to our network partners.
Oh, awesome.
So, for instance, if the Winooski Food Shelf needs a new freezer because they're expanding or their freezer dies, they can make an application to the food bank. It's basically a one-page form. Say, we need $3,000 because we need to buy a new freezer, and then we cut them a check and send it there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. See, right. And see, keep everybody working. Keep everybody, doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way you got to do. Like you got to be, going to say, proactive, synergize, and all those good words. So I'm glad you do that. Still do that. Always do it. And so all right. So you guys got 75 employees. You got 4 locations, 4 counties,
3 locations,
3 locations, and so I guess so how do Chittenden County, how do Burlington get up? What location is for Burlington? Berry?
So we serve Burlington out of Berry, but feeding Champlain Valley is of a size where they have their own warehouse.
Okay.
So we actually can drive bigger trucks here and distribute food here that then gets redistributed by CVOEO, by Feeding Champlain Valley. And Burlington's the place with the most people in Vermont. So You know, the hunger exists in every place in
No doubt
Vermont.
about it,
But there are more people here, so there's more people that can probably use
service,
some,
probably.
some assistance.
Yeah, and you see them everywhere too. Like I live right downtown, right across from the library, and you know, sad to see that so many people are homeless and they sleep right in the doorways. They sleep in the parks. You know, just right now it's freezing cold, and so having food is not really is a luxury for them. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, it's not something they can go in the refrigerator and get. You know what I mean? Throw in it, you know, and thank God it's Vermont Foodbank locations, you know, where your partners are, who can distribute food to them and give them hot meals too. You know, like food shops down the street.
That's right.
From where we are right now, and thank God for that. You know, and like I was able to get this Sally her food, you know, from the same place as I was walking from downtown, and I have a bag of food for her to bring back to her, and I'm asking her about this. You know, about the service that that you guys Vermont Foodbank supports or help with. You know, especially with the 3 Squares and if she don't know about that, man. Jeez, man, that's a big deal.
Yeah, well, if she's eligible, she should get on that program.
Yeah. And then Aging Well, they do a lot too. I work with you guys, and right, make sure food and stuff, and make sure individuals get what they need as far as their health and the systemic needs of people with needs.
And speaking of health, another thing that happens a lot in Chittenden County is fresh food. So we have a program. Actually, it was a bill that was passed last year in the legislature that created a grant program at the Agency of Agriculture called Vermonters, Feeding Vermonters. And so the legislature appropriated $500,000, and that's a grant to the food bank, and we use that to purchase fresh Vermont-grown food. And some of that comes from from the Intervale and farms in Chittenden County and farms all over the state. Intervale is a great partner. And so we try and make sure that we're bringing Vermont agricultural products to all Vermonters, because you know it's great to go at the farmers market, and actually your 3 Squares Vermont benefits, if you take them to the farmers market, you can oftentimes double those. They have what's called crop cash, and NOFA, Northeast Organic Farming Vermont, they administer the crop cash program, so you can get more fresh produce for your 3 Squares dollars. But we make sure that we have relationships with Vermont farms, because people, you know, stuff's more expensive at the farmers market.
No doubt about it.
And we want to make sure that that all Vermonters can have access to that great.
Now, I see some statistics, you know, going up around talking about what we do, and and these is good information that people can get off our website here with Straight Talk Vermont on service window, or get off CCTV and learn. And these what we're doing right now, what you see on your screen now, is what Vermont Foodbank have to offer on their website. You can see a lot of things that they do, and Vermonters Feeding Vermonters. That's from the farms. Look at all that beautiful, fresh-looking, organic.
And some of that goes to our partners through gleaning. So the food bank doesn't do gleaning anymore, but there are gleaning partners here. Actually, Feeding Champlain Valleys does gleaning right here. In the Northeast Kingdom, it's Salvation Farms, Willing Hands in the Upper Valley. And so there's organizations all over the state that will go onto farms, and they will actually harvest food that the farms aren't going to sell. So sometimes stuff is the wrong shape or the wrong size, or it comes in at the wrong time, or you know, they harvest the spinach and then it regrows and they're not going to pick it again. So volunteers will come in and pick all that, and then it goes from there straight to food shelves and soup kitchens and gets prepared for folks in the community, which is really nice.
So we're gonna wind up a little bit, but do you ever get any like sweet items, like pies or cakes? Or
We do. We get that donated all the time. You know, we have. It's a small part of what we distribute, but we do get snacks from the grocery stores, and actually our partners that go pick up at stores, because all the stores have somebody that goes and picks up every couple days, and they get a lot of the baked goods. So that's available too, and everyone deserves a sweet treat.
I'm laughing because I'm like, I need a brownie or something. I try to stay off of sweets, but now and then, you know, we gotta Gotta have it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so what is your what's your words you want to say to let everybody know? You can look right in your camera and let them know.
I would say that hunger is a solvable problem, and in Vermont, we can make policy choices that will create food security for everyone in this state. We're working on this in a coalition with folks, and we can do it.
Yeah. Can you tell me your website again, please?
Yes, it is vtfoodbank.org.
Right. And one last thing, and they can go on your website and find ways to volunteer, right?
Absolutely.
Because right now I think we need a lot of volunteers. I don't know. Well, one more thing too. What are some of the volunteerism that they can do?
It's packing and sorting food and going out to our Veggie Van Go mobile distributions and helping there. And also look at your local food shelf. Use the Find a Food shelf, because our local folks need volunteers also.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Well, John.
Bruce, thank you.
CEO of Vermont Foodbank, thank you very much for joining us. Straight Talk Vermont. It's always good to see you, and hopefully we can once again, not hopefully, but we will meet up again. How's your son? How's your family? Everybody's doing?
Yeah, everyone's doing
Everybody's
great.
Doing well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy holidays, sir.
Thank you. To you too, Bruce.
All right.
And to everyone.
Everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Straight Talk Vermont show. We'll see you again.